So, welcome to ChuiMathGuide.com. My name is Jesus Urtiaga and we are going to take a look at piecewise define function. Starting with a basic and simple problem with a 3 piecewise function. But first, we have to worry about the steps we have to follow in order to solve the problem. The first step will be to evaluate and review the equation. Second step is to identify the problem and find which are the equations that we have to use. The third step is to solve the equation. The step number 4 is from the results of those equations, obtain the coordinates. So we can graph them out. The last step, number 5, is to define the domain and the range of the function we are evaluating. So let's start with the procedure that we are going to follow to solve this piecewise function. So we have that f of x equal to -1 if x is less than -1. Then in the second function we have that y is 1 if -1 is equal to x minus or equal to 1. And in the last and third section is f of x is equal to -1 if x is greater than 1. In this exercise, we can see that we have 3 piece function. In the first function, we have that x is less than -1. So this means that all the values in y are going to be -1. In the second function, we have like a double function or a perfectly well-defined piece of the graph between two limits. This will be -1 equal to x, and at the same time x is less or equal to 1. So this function means that any value from x that is less than 1 or 1 will be equal to 1 in y. And in the third piece we have that when x is greater to 1, so all the values in y will be -1. So now, with this information, we can coordinate reference points in our graph. The result of the first function is parentheses -1, -1, and close the parentheses. The second function, when x value is -1, y value will be 1. And when x equals 1, y value will be also 1. And for the third function, when the value of x is 1 or greater than 1, y value will be -1. So now that we have our 4 points of reference, we can start to graph these results. So we have -1, -1. It will be here. Then we have -1, 1. Then we also have 1, 1. And at the last coordinate is 1, -1. And then we can identify our asymptotes. In the second equation, we have less than 1 with equality. That means that this part of the line will be a solid line with a solid circle, and also indicates that we are going to consider the end of the lines when we mark or draw our limits. And then in the first and third equation, we have less than and greater than without equality. This means that we are going to have a forever constant line for the negative and positive side, and for left and right. But because we don't have equality, this means that the point will be drawn with an open circle, and that we are not going to consider the values that are less than 1 or 1. This gives us the reference for the asymptotes. Just where the point in the graph is not longer defined is where the asymptotes are. To define the domain and the range, we have to remember that the domain are the x values we use, and the range are the y values we use in the graph. So, In this problem, the domain is minus infinity to plus infinity. And for the range, we have -1 and 1, -1 and 1. We include the 1 because it has a square bracket, is this one. Because we have to remember that we did include and use in the graph the values on y. You measure the range upside down and the domain from left to right. So I hope this explanation was helpful for you to solve future piecewise function. Thank you for visiting ChewieMathGuide.com.